decided not to leave this town. Maybe I can stay and find some other nice people who will like me and accept me for who I am.
Trusting your spirit. Yes, yes, that's exactly what I'm talking about.
And we're back. I assume. Everybody can still, everybody back? Is anybody back? Did everybody leave? Is everybody gone? Was anybody ever really there? Is a better question. All right. Because why not? Morning. You're late. We've been going for a while. Lack of self-importance. Gotcha. Oh, sorry. So what happened was I've been going this morning. And then something busted, so I had to shut it down and then start it up again. So now I guess everybody else got the notification again. Or a new notification. I don't know why it crapped out the last time, but it did. Anyways, Ken, if you missed it, we're speed running writing a novel now. Institution in Lincoln went down the same way. Not the same, but similar. Just last week. Oh, oh no! Stop falling on the floor. We're in a race against time. Everybody loves a good race against time to stop the next one. See what I'm saying? Lack of self-importance. She's choosing to try this out. It's not that I don't think the brave law enforcement... She's in a TV show. The brave law enforcement officers can't do it. can't do it. It's more that I can hop on a plane, hop on a jet to anywhere at any time. Which means in a race, I'm the fastest. Do you know who did this? Is it who do you know who do this? Who do this? Who did this? Is it on camera? That's a question. If we knew, he'd be in one of those cars over there. I think that'd be obvious. Even if you're all the way up in a jet. Yes. Molly, right? Yes. Molly. What about, come on, he's from the Midwest. There aren't, you know what's crazy? There are some skips in writing a novel. In general, they're called stealing. But a skip's a skip. That's a time save. What about cameras? He's from the Midwest. Of course he's going to ask her name. Come on. They're in there, Molly. He pointed to the remains of the remains of the structure. I understand the physical cameras are no longer with us. She began to be frustrated. She became frustrated. Patience, not a virtue of the moneyed class. I understand the physical cameras. Emphasis, the physical cameras are no longer with us. Are no longer with us. But the recordings are kept in the cloud. She pointed it to the sky. She pointed to the sky, returning his gesture and their equal status in the conversation, and restoring the balance, returning his gesture and restoring the balance of power. God damn it, Jordan, the balance of power. Sure. We in Topeka are familiar with the internet. Thank you. We've even got the pictures. We've even got the moving pictures. Where's here? So where is the footage? If I knew that, I'd have it already. I think that'd be obvious. Lieutenant Frank Drebin is not a helpful guy. Cheerfulness having given way to passive aggression. Molly's wheelhouse. She felt uncomfortable. No, I don't need to have it as Molly's wheelhouse. Jordan, come on. Come on, Jordan. Molly's wheelhouse. Having given way to passive aggression, Molly felt on firm ground. On firmer ground? Firma terra. Ugh. What am I, fucking Heinlein? Terra firma. Jesus. Cram it up your ass, Heinlein. Fascist. She didn't take the bait. The warden has to know. She doesn't know that it's not. She's like living her little fantasy, so she thinks it's a warden. She does the whole thing. She doesn't actually know anything about anything. Where's he? How do you know it's a he? Presumptuous. She's. He pointed to the remains of the structure. Wait, what? She was in there when the building fell. Dead long before that, I assume. Smoke inhalation and whatnot. That's right! This is when we reveal that Cindy is dead. She died in the fire. No, Cindy! I loved Cindy. But such is the way. I didn't expect that. I didn't think the guy wanted to hurt. I didn't think anybody was gonna get. It didn't feel like anybody was trying to get hurt. She just didn't expect it. We don't need further. She's stunned. She didn't expect it. We don't need her to. You burnt down 2 buildings, you say? Pretty sure. Someone will be in one of them. Burning buildings. Pretty sure someone will be in one of them. I expect that, at least. If you're looking for him, You're looking for a killer. I'd let my dad think I was dumb before I jumped in front of a gun. Well, I'm sure he already does. So, you, an older male authority figure, are going to tell me to stay away from danger? Stay away from danger? Danger. Sure. I assume you know how that goes in real. You have a daughter? Do you have kids? Do you have How do you think I'll respond? Does Frank have kids? Frank, you got kids? Frank does not have kids. That's the type of shit that you just can't get. You know, you can read this book, sure, but you just won't ever know if Frank does or doesn't have kids unless you're watching the stream, unless you're watching me write it. See, this is secret information that all of you get that just nobody else will ever have. Actually, I think he's probably a real cool guy. Lieutenant Frank Drebin, stamp of approval. Molly stared at him with suspicion. She did not believe this man in front of her was making a joke. And yet, what else could it be? She changed tack one last time. I can give you money. Thank God you finally got there. Jesus Christ. All right. So let's take a look at that. How does that sound? How does that sound? Molly's jet landed at the Topeka Regional Airport to the shock of an unpracticed air traffic control. The pilot had altered the flight plan late to throw her father off the trail, at least for a while. The ruse, but at least temporarily. The ruse bought as much time as he had interest in her, which was, depending on the day, a lot or none at all. The plane landed, taxied to the terminal, turned back, and she then disembarked away from the confused locals drinking early at the only open bars. The mechanics rushed out, assuming emergency. Otherwise, why land at Topeka Regional Airport? The pilot met them with a shrug and said, "I guess we misread the beeps. She's going to use the bathroom and then we'll get out of here." This confused them still further as there were multiple bathrooms on her private jet. The pilot met them with a shrug and said, "She likes the Topeka bathrooms," and those were his last words. From his jacket, he pulled a one-hitter. They passed it around. During the exchange, Molly slipped by and past the barricades airports have in place to keep people from slipping by and past them like it's the 70s. Slipping by and past them like it's the 70s. She was at the taxi stand on her way to the institution in minutes. She had expected to see a building, but she was several hundred minutes late for that. She was several hundred minutes late for... Minutes. Conversation with the character, they challenge her. Yeah, man. Yeah. She was right on time for Rubble. Barney Rubble? Trouble! The taxi let her out 100 feet from the yellow caution tape. She surveyed the various emergency services reacting to the destruction. The lights spun, leaving no permanent mark. Yeah. She looked for a handsome fireman, unaware of why, or even that she reacted as if she were watching a soap opera. Unaware of why, or even that she reacted like she reacted like she watched a soap opera. She reacted as though she reacted. The same. She reacted the same as she were couch-bound watching a soap opera. Like most people, she didn't know them. Like most people in her life, like most real people, she didn't know them. She didn't know them from real life. We can just cut out like most people. She reacted the same as she were couch-bound watching a soap opera. We don't need if. She felt the collected eyes turn from work to her. She felt them evaluate her, dismiss her, and then the dark desire to dominate her. In response, the family crest burnt on the back of her eyelids. "Stop me," came to mind. She singled out the closest important-looking layabout and bounded toward him at speed. She had the initiative, but her window was small and closing. She saw his SUV of importance and slapped her hands on the hood. Lieutenant Frank Drebin had been a firefighter for 15 years. At the academy, the joke he would be Lieutenant Frank Drebin someday was funny. 8 years later, when he became Lieutenant Frank Drebin, for some reason, it stopped being funny and started being an uncanny example of nominative determinism. He only ever introduced himself as Frank. "Are you in charge here?" "Yes, well, no. But to you, yes. You need to leave the area, and I am in charge of telling you that, ma'am." "Who are you to presume I'm a ma'am?" "Ah, right. Regardless, you need to leave the area." "Wrong. I fucking own this place. I'm Molly Dirksen. You might know the Dirksens from owning literally fucking everything." I'm sure you are, ma'am." I mean, I'm sure you are, or you're probably not. But if you are, then you still need to leave the area. Even more so if you are. You're so important. It's important for you to be safe. If you get hurt, I'll get in trouble. But to be honest, the longer this conversation continues, the less I care about safety. He was generally cheerful, which took her by surprise, expecting an officious, big-headed careerist, and in general, cheerfulness was not the default state she grew up with. So, am I using generally and in general together the correct way for me? He was generally cheerful, which took her by surprise, expecting an officious, big-headed careerist. And in general, cheerfulness. So I'm trying to put generally cheerful and general cheerfulness next to each other, but I don't know if that's stupid or not. In a way, I kind of like it, but also I hate it. The Jordan story. The story of my life. In a way, I kind of like it, but I also hate it. She changed tack. I get it. I'm sorry. As you can see, I'm a little distraught over the pile of rubble that used to be the property of my father. My dad is going to be pissed. Forgive me for getting up in your face about it. I just need some information and fast. If he finds out from someone else, he's going to think I'm stupid. I know it's not fair. Dads. And then he's going to make my life a living hell. Despite their time together being short, Lieutenant Frank Drebin no longer felt envy for the wealthy. They got too much going on, man. I sympathize. Well, I don't really, but I can see trouble on your face, and I'm not really doing anything here, to be honest. The people over there are under my dad's command, so no one really reports to me or whatever. Get into the car and let's talk. It's safe in there. It's safe in here. It's safe in there. It's safe in there. He said the last to himself, justifying this breach of protocol. See, it's safe in there, he's saying to himself. If it was safe in here, he would be saying it to her. She sat in the passenger seat and continued to prey on his lack of self-importance. I'm trying to find out who did this. The institution in Lincoln went down the same way. Not the same, but similar, just last week. We're in a race against time to stop the next one. It's not that I don't think the brave law enforcement officers can't do it. It's more that I can hop on a jet to anywhere at any time, which means in a race, I'm the fastest. Do you know who did this? Is it on camera? If we knew, he'd be in one of those cars over there. I think that'd be obvious, even if you're all the way up in the jet, right, Molly? Molly, right? Yes, Molly. What about cameras? They're in there, Molly. He pointed to the remains of the structure. She became frustrated. Patience not a virtue of the moneyed class. Nope, moneyed class. Get the fuck over yourself. Patience not her virtue. Jesus Christ. Of the moneyed class, Gatsby. I understand the physical cameras are no longer with us, but the recordings are kept in the cloud. She pointed to the sky, returning his gesture and restoring the balance of power. Sure. We in Topeka are familiar with the internet, thank you. We've even got the moving pictures here. So where is the footage? If I knew that, I'd have it already. I think that'd be obvious. Cheerfulness having given way to passive aggression, Molly felt on firm ground. She didn't take the bait. The warden has to know. Where's he? How do you know it's a he? Presumptuous. She's... He pointed to the remains of the structure. Wait. What? She was in there when the building fell. Dead long before that, I assume. Smoke inhalation and whatnot. I didn't expect that. He burnt down 2 buildings, you say? Pretty sure someone will be in one of them. I expect that, at least. If you're looking for him, you're looking for a killer. I'd let my dad think I was dumb before I jumped in front of a gun. I'm sure he already does. So you, an older male authority figure, are going to tell me to stay away from danger? How do you think I'll respond? Oh, I get it. Actually, I think he's probably a real cool guy. Lieutenant Frank Drebin's stamp of approval. And this is where the Frank Drebin pays off, because then the joke becomes a real joke inside of the thing, and it drives her responding this way. So it hits in different sections of the chapter here. One bit over and over and over again, viewed in a bunch of different facets as it goes throughout the story, instead of just being a throwaway bit. She did not believe this man in front of her was making a joke, and yet what else could it be? Because his name can't really be that. She changed tack one last time. I can give you money. Thank God you finally got there. Thank God you finally got there. All That is not bad. That's not bad. That is not bad. All right. Oh. Well, that's a couple hours. 2 hours. What do we got for word count? 10K. We are at 10K. We're a fifth of the way through a book. How about that? How about that? How about it? Oh, I don't like that. We got to move that up. We can't be looking at that blank page. No, thank you. No, thank you. Cannot be looking at a blank page over there. All right. All right. So, we've done two things. First thing we've done is give you the first half. How am I feeling about time? I'm jumping time. And I don't know if I want to jump time. So, the next part is actually the scene where Rade and Cindy have their... Here's how I would describe it. So the scene that I have that I'm trying to write next is essentially structured like the Obi-Wan Anaconda. Don't want Obi-Wan unless you got okay. So it's structured on the Anakin Obi-Wan fight. At the end of Revenge of the Sith, right? So there's these two characters, everything's burning around them, everything's being destroyed, but it's just a regular real life thing. Nobody has any laser swords. It's just philosophy and 40 feet of runway. You are the chosen one! How do you know I'm not still the chosen one? If I'm the chosen one, then whatever I do is what was chosen. That's the point of Jesus Christ, people. Like, you understand, if you believe in prophecy, then whatever happens is prophesied. So you can't be unhappy if it's not what you wanted to happen. You're the one who believed it's supposed to happen. As though he were holding a chest filled with the traumas of the past. As though. How many times... Rade's arms were outstretched above him. Holding an invisible, but no less heavy chest filled with the traumas past. Ready to launch it, ready to toss it, ready to button smasher, ready to hit it. Ready to launch it at Cindy. Ready to launch. Wait, holding an invisible but no less heavy chest. I mean, I don't know how I feel about chest being so close to other body parts, because then you might feel like he's actually holding an invisible chest as opposed to holding an invisible. Holding an invisible, but no less heavy cabinet. Credenza. I don't know what a credenza is. What is a credenza? Credenza is a love seat? No. Dresser, drawer, but no less heavy. Where do you hide? Safe? But no less heavy, safe, filled with traumas past, ready to bring it down on her like a with the fury it inspired. Rade's arms were outstretched above him, holding an invisible but no less heavy, safe, an invisible safe, non-corporeal but no less heavy, filled with traumas past, ready to bring it down on her with the fury it inspired. Look at you. You're literally dressed like an inmate. You literally live like an inmate. You literally are an inmate. They just let you think otherwise. You eat this shitty food. You are worse than an inmate. They have to fucking catch me to get me into this. They have to fucking catch me to put me in a cage. They have to catch me to cage me. That's much better. They have to catch me to cage me. But you walk right the fuck in. This place has turned you into a fixture. No different than a fucking toilet. Get the fuck out. Jesus, Rade. Fucking tell her how you really feel. Cindy was unfazed because Cindy is unflappable and unafraid. You think this is the first time somebody's given Cindy a fucking expletive-laced rant? Hell no. This was her. She didn't remember, but more than remember exactly, but more than could be counted, could be counted on fingers and toes. She didn't remember exactly how many. This was not her first, quote, "We are not free" speech. She didn't remember exactly how many, but more than could be counted on fingers and toes. Yeah, we get it. Oh, we are not free. Yeah, buddy. It was far from her first expletive-laced rant, and nowhere near her first "get the fuck out." Are we beating a dead horse? Cindy was unfazed and unafraid. This was not her first "we are not free" speech. She didn't remember exactly how many, but more than could be counted on fingers and toes. It was far from her first expletive-laced rant, and it was nowhere near her first "get the fuck out." Was nowhere near her first "get the fuck out." No, because I'm really reinforcing how unimpressed Cindy is with him. This is the part where I think it is easy to assume that the themes that I'm dealing with in the book are, like, I suppose just the protagonist is the guy who is doing the burning. Now, obviously, the burning is metaphorical for just, removal of the institutions. If it wasn't, I would have something more than just the name, the institution. We're referring back to previous literary, honestly, classics. The Trial specifically is what I'm thinking of. Oh, Kafka. But the hero is not the hero. This is not the hero. Rade is not the hero. Cindy is unimpressed. So now we get, you can have your point of view of looking through Rade's eyes and being like, yeah, it's unfair out there. But Cindy represents something greater than that. And so the connection between these two is showing you that it's not like, it's an indulgence. It's an indulgence that she is fucking tired of. They calmed down after they blew. Cindy figured some people were just like that. Unimpressed. Geysers imagining themselves to be volcanoes. Deep. Don't cover them. Don't get too close. Avoid the splash, the hot splash. They're actually quite beautiful in their own way. We can use a colon there. She assumed this would go as usual. She would weather the onslaught. Everyone would calm down, and we could move and move forward together and move forward together. She knew this. She expected this. Experience had taught her this. Had taught her. Experience had taught her. She trusted her experience. She trusted. She trusted experience. I understand you. I'm listening to you. Listen to me now. Look at me. I live here, but I'm free. I live like my friends because we're a community. We are all free together. Freedom isn't running around not caring. It's about being unafraid. Look at me. I am unafraid. Look at me, I am unafraid. She is going to say, look at me. Hypnotically. Look at me. Don't look away. Don't look away. Look at me. Eyes. Like he's a dog. That's what she's used to. She's used to treating people like they are dogs. But that's wise for her because that's the way, you know. Like, no. Unfortunately, every so often, experience is a blindfold. What had happened in the past, so often useful to as a predictor, was in this case so often useful was in this case her end. Ooh, dark. Be safe somewhere else. Boom! Rade revealed a gun-shaped lighter. Spy store. Clicked it several times with no result. let's get a little to lighten the mood, because we're about to have a rough go. So to lighten the mood, we're just gonna let you know that the Crypt Keeper threw it in with every purchase. Included one with every purchase. Just to lighten the mood. Because if I lighten the mood then, it really brings you down. Sometimes with no results. Then shook it violently. It occurred to him that while he may have just purchased it, that did not necessarily mean the lighter was brand new. He should have been more suspicious when the Crypt Keeper also included a huge box of matches. Just a fucking bunch of matches. A huge box. Suspiciously, instead of saying luckily, which is what, luckily the Crypt Keeper, instead we'll say suspiciously, thus affirming how weird it is. Suspiciously, the Crypt Keeper, without having to point it out, included matches with every purchase as well. So yeah, so you get that in this case, because of the suspiciously, that I'm telling you that the Crypt Keeper includes a useless lighter with every purchase. And then, yeah. Subtle. Slide it in there. We can get rid of that. That's trash. Cindy watched him pull what looked like a switchblade. Hi, Kieran. Check the timer. We're speed running a novel. Pull what looked like a switchblade. It's writing time. Or life is a game. It's game time, Karen. What looked like a switchblade. Watched him pull to Cindy's vision. Cindy's eyes showed her a man pulling a switchblade from his black stomach. The fanny pack invisible to her in the low light of morning. The fanny pack camouflaged Boo. Talk about spelling. Now that's the good stuff. I won a spelling bee once very long ago, and now look at me. Everybody changes. The fanny pack camouflaged by the low light. It was unsettling. For a second, she thought it would begin leaking blood. She thought it would be. She thought she saw a wound. She thought she saw a wound about to seep blood. Her instincts to care for him froze her. She reached to staunch the bleeding. Closer up. She saw that it was yet another fake lighter. And that he was wearing an unstylish fanny pack. Why? Because what you gonna do? Paid full price for both. Nah. We can make that one paragraph. Now, this is a good one. Here's part of why I hate larger paragraphs. And if you are going to use a larger paragraph for this, I guess, millennium, since we're not doing the past, nobody's L. Ron Hubbarding anymore. You're not going to just get paid by the word because nobody's going to read all your words. What happens to a lot of people is they will, because they're trained by internet blog writing, that kind of thing. Your paragraph structure is essentially your first sentence is really all you need to say. And then the rest of it is the description that you can read if you want to. That's, I guess, part of the fundamental reason I hate everything. So if you are going to write a larger paragraph, you still have to make every word important. So this first sentence is not the most important sentence of the paragraph, but it does contain everything that the paragraph contains. So pulling the switchblade from his black stomach is the visual metaphor, is the image that gives you the rest of this. But if you want to get the feeling and then the punchline, you have to read every single word. Otherwise, there's really just no point. Because if you just go with the fanny pack was camouflaged by the low light and that he was wearing an unstylish fanny pack, you don't get anything. You lose it. I want you out of this. I want you out of this paragraph. You'll just go fanny pack to fanny pack and think it sucks. But the repetition is what rewards you if you read the whole thing. This lighter worked, saving the embarrassment of pulling out a grill lighter purchased just in case. Just in case from a more reputable hardware store helmed by someone with skin. That's right. I'm giving you bits. Hello. I'm giving you bits. Helmed by someone with skin. Up to this point, she had been so confident in her ability to... Up to this point, we need to make a new paragraph. We need to put Cindy in there. Technically, the pronoun usage could still catch up on the paragraph before, but I don't like that. That's just not how we work. We bring you back to Cindy. Cindy. Up to this point, Cindy had been so confidently. Cindy was so confident. Cindy had been so confident. Cindy felt so confident. We don't want had been anywhere to see. Felt so confident in her ability to wrest control of the situation, no matter how dire. That she had not... That the possibility, that the actual possibility of failure flashed in front of her for the first time. Up to this point, Cindy felt so... We don't need to have up to this point. We are at this point. Everything that has been before us has been up to this point. Up to this point is a waste of everybody's time. We are at this point, so everything is up to this point. Remember what we've been doing. I'm not going to spoon feed you. Cindy felt so confident in her ability to wrest control of the situation, no matter how dire, that the actual possibility of her failure flashed in front of her for the first time. That only now, that just now, no, I've already used only now like 3 chapters ago. That just now, that only now, that the possibility of failure. Was only just now gaining strength, momentum. No matter how. That now the actual possibility of failure flashing in front of her. That the actual possibility of failure. That now the actual possibility. Nah, we're good. Cindy felt so confident in her ability to wrest control of the situation, no matter how dire, that the actual possibility of failure flashed in front of her. Nope, trash. Trash! Out! Be gone! Be gone! The flame. Yeah, the flames. The flame, the small flame, the tiny flame The tiny flame, the small flame. Yes, we're using that image to represent the amount of, a small flame starts a large fire. That's a small flame. This small flame represents, this individual thing happening, which is part of the larger series of things happening, which is part of the whole book. That's the idea. Every single tiny thing needs to be the entirety of the whole thing. So you get in there, you spread it out. It's the same. Then you spread it out again, and it's even bigger. The tiny flame waving weakly, waving uncertainly, pierced her confidence, and only now did she visualize the actual possibility of failure. Uncertainly pierced her confidence. The tiny flame, waving uncertainly, pierced her confidence, and only now did she visualize the actual possibility of failure. Now that's how you take a trash sentence and turn it into not trash. You get rid of it. And only now did she visualize the actual possibility of failure. Failure in the abstract, she knew was possible. She had always known was possible. She had always known was possible. Failure in the concrete, the actual event, the events that follow from the moment of defeat were obscured until they suddenly become very clear. Were obscure until they very much weren't. Like a pilot, like a plane in a mountain. I like that. Like a plane gliding until it became decoration, until it decorated the mountain, until it decorates the mountain. Failure in the concrete, the events that follow from the moment of defeat, were obscure until they very much weren't, like a plane gliding until it decorates the mountain. Like a gliding plane before it decorates the mountain. Like a gliding plane before it decorates the mountain. That's not bad. That's not bad. Ooh. Cindy was back in 6th grade. Cindy, back in 6th grade. Soccer team. Sponsored by Tarrington's Boots. On one knee. In the huddle. Listening to Coach Prick. Monologue about sport and life. They were 6-0 in travel league and had won every game by more than 4 goals. Randall Prick yelled about Patriots. The Patriots. And the Patriots. The Patriots. Get it? All right. Randall Prick has 2 L's in his name. Why? Because he does. The moment you think you can't lose, you lose. Even if you're the best, you lose. Even if you're unstoppable, you lose. Even if you're invincible, you can be vinced. There's no such thing as can't lose. Only will lose eventually. Team, of course, went undefeated and won the Kansas State Championship. And she, unfortunately, didn't take his sentiment to heart. All right. Okay, Karen, I'm sorry to say this, but I'm getting hungry. I've been going for about 3 hours. Dang, we've been going pretty hard today. So I think I'm gonna call it. I'm building up endurance. I feel like the first couple of times we did this, we only went for a couple hours, and now I feel like we can do 3 pretty regularly. And that means that eventually we can do 4, and then we'll just have a nice little community of people hanging out. Thanks for hanging, everybody who hangs. As always, be safe.